Alright, welcome, and this is Russ Moody with another battle report featuring Lord Orcturious and his Orc Warband. First, what you're going to see is we rolled and for scenarios, and it's a battle for the pass, and I won the roll off. And one of the problems here that I had is there was a bit of a back and forth in my own mind, as it was tough for me to figure out which side I wanted. On the one side, there was a hill, but it also had a Sigmarite shrine. And if you look up a Sigmarite Shrine, that means that you don't get any ward saves. And so I didn't know if I wanted that deployment zone in the off chance that I might need to be rolling to, I might lose my ward saves from any shooting that he had. And then on the other side, there was an Arcane Ruins. And my thinking was that I really didn't want him to have the Arcane Ruins, as that would give him additional power and dispel dice. And the last thing you wanted to give High Elves is additional dice. As it turns out, if I had known his list a little bit better, I definitely would have gone with the hill, because he was pretty much channeling and getting 12 dice every magic phase anyways. So the extra channeling dice and the dispel dice from the Arcane Ruins really wouldn't have made a difference. So just right there I learned something. Against High Elves, it does just try and increase your own and do what's in your best interest. And don't worry about what they have, because magically they're just going to be way overpowered magically, and so you just try and get the best setup you can. And now we're going to go on to my deployment as I won the roll off. All right, so what you see here is my Wolf Riders on the left near the board edge, a chariot, and then in front of that is my Squig Mangler, or Kansas Squig Mangler. It's the Black Orc, and then I've got 40 some odd Savage Orc Biggins. And then there's a level 1 shaman in there. And then you can see there's another chariot and some more boar boys. And going on over to the next picture, again you can see I've got all those black orcs right there. And then next to that are some river trolls and some night goblins. And lastly, right here you'll see that I've got my Doom Diver and my two stone throwers in the Arcane Ruins. Or that actually in his deployment. As you see, this is his deployment right here, and he's got 50 Lothorn Seaguard with a BSB in there, and that's the first unit he put down. And so I tried to get as many of my things over there as I could after I placed my Wolf Riders first, but my units are so big that he just kind of was able to bunker in that corner. And I knew from that moment on I was in a bad situation, because I was going to have to march all the way across the table and get shot at the entire time. As you see, he's got 4 bolt throwers. That's what the empty base is, actually another bolt thrower. He's got 4 bolt throwers on that hill, a unit of 10 archers. And then going on to the next picture, he has another unit of 10. Then he also has some white lions, 30 or so odd white lions in there. And white lions actually I think are just devastating, especially against higher toughness armies. And then then this last picture you see, those are some shadow warriors. And then there's a high elf special character in there, but personally I don't think he's that good. I mean, if this player wasted points, that was where he wasted them, was on that guy's choice. But honestly, high elf players, that if you watch this, field shadow warriors. The high elf weakness is war machine shooting and getting hit by large templates. And people always say, "Oh, shadow warriors suck." It doesn't matter how bad they suck; they can get into the enemy deployment zone and tie up or remove war machines. And if you're a high elf player and you find yourself struggling, that's what you need to do. It's because if you get nailed by those war machines as a high elf player, I mean, you just can't stand up to any template shooting. So, yeah. So try fielding some shadow warriors. All right, now going on to this next picture, see, this is my vanguard movement for my Wolf Riders, and my thought was that I could kind of try and screen use them as a shooting screen, so that maybe, because I don't care about what happens to my Wolf Riders, they're kind of a throwaway unit anyway, and so to, absorb some of that shooting, that's why they moved there. And now we'll go ahead and start on with his turn 1. And as you can see, his turn 1, he moves pretty much nowhere, and he just commences, except for in the back, his shades move a little bit and spread out like that. or Shadow Warriors, I mean, and then they spread out to shoot my Doom Diver, and that's pretty much the theme of the next little bit is he just goes through and the Wolf Riders. I believe he managed to get through Curse of Arrow Attraction because he rolled 4 dice and Irresistible forced it, and so then the next frame you'll see that they got shot to death. To the last Wolf Rider, and they just died. They even had light armor and a shield, and poof. And it just kind of continues on to that. So, yeah. All right, going on to the next. As you can see, my chariot moves up, my savage boys move up. Oh, and also you'll notice the Squig Mangler's gone. He was also shot dead last turn, or during the high elf shooting phase, and he's also casting magic too, so there was some fire magic that was cast as well. And next to that, you see my chariot moved up, and everything marched forward as fast as it could. And I think what ended up really being true is, and you see the trolls moved up over the fence. I decided to turn the night goblins around in an attempt to deal with his shadow warriors, and I turned them around, swift reformed. They moved forward, the fanatics popped out, and I missed with all 3 fanatics. And, say 1 or better yet 2 of them had hit, I think he really would have been in a much different situation. So my fanatics missed, and then what you can see there is the most devastating thing about my first turn is I rolled a 1 on the animosity table for my Orc Boar Boys, and bunkered in there is my level 4 Orc Shaman. And so I had no magic. And why this matters is it's battle for the pass. I've got to get across the board as quickly as possible, and I no longer have my Hand of Gork spell, which I was totally counting on. My best solution to winning this battle was 6 dice, Hand of Gork, push a unit forward so that they don't get shot up, and that would have been it would have been a game. That's why that spell is a game-winning spell. You do that, and that was my plan. And animosity just messed it all up. So I was left to kind of slug it out and So high elf turn 2. Here he is again. He angled his white lions a little bit, and he moved backwards actually a couple inches, so that he could continue to just pelt me with shots. And then as you see here, the next picture, he goes on, and his shadow warriors end up charging the Doom Diver. So that they're going to kill them easily. And right here, this next picture, you see that's what happens after his magic and shooting combined. He's downed about 24 some odd of my savage orcs, and remember, they've got a 5-up ward. They're toughness 4, and he managed in one shooting phase to kill around 24, 25 of them. So yeah, this army is just absolutely brutal in shooting. Then, as you can see, he overruns from after killing the Doom Diver, and the Shadow Warriors overrun into my other Stone Thrower. So I'm not going to be able to get much shooting out of my Stone Throwers to try and whittle him down. And yeah. Continuing on to Orc turn 2, and you see I push my Savage Orcs over that is a charnel pit, and the chariots maneuver a little bit, and that one chariot that's actually in a strange facing in the center is because I charged those 2 small units of archers, and he fled with both of them, which I think was actually a really good move on my part, because then that was 20 less shots that I was not going to take in his next round of shooting. So, as you can see, my boar boys actually managed to move up this time, and the black orcs marched forward as well. The trolls on the right side, they also moved forward. And my night goblins, I turned them around. I probably should have just left them facing backwards and had them ready to start doing something once those shadow warriors got done with it, because they're now way too far. They're not even going to get into the fight. And it's questionable whether or not I made the right call on that. Maybe I should have just pushed them forward as fast as they could, but given where they were at on the board and where his units were at, they would have seen combat maybe turn 5, maybe turn 6 if I had tried to go at his main lines with them. So, and then finally, we got a picture of his shades, and they're fighting there, and they're going to eventually overrun on into, yeah. So what this is, I actually cast Foot of Gork this time, and I killed just a couple. It was actually the big version of Foot of Gork, and it kept scattering off. So I hit like two the first time, next time, and then it ended. So not an impressive showing for the Foot of Gork, but still I did manage to kill some things.